The other day, a client sent me a list of potential prospects that they had manually researched because they are looking at who they've recently sold to and then looked for other companies who are similar to them. Of course, this was manual, but it was important to seed this list manually to make sure that we're on the right track. However, they then asked me to enrich the data to find out more about them so that we can plan out what the outbound campaigns are. For context, they are a marketing agency offering SEO, PPC, and conversion rate optimization. So what tool I'm using now is called Freckle. The reason I like Freckle is I can actually start from a blank page or a list of domains. These are example domains, they're not the client domains that they sent me. And now I can start to perform research. So I want to start looking at what's the employee size, what is the company description, what industry are they in, what is their company LinkedIn profile, all of this information. Because like I said, the client literally went through Google searches to find companies that look similar to some of their customers that they have. So using Freckle, and the reason why I start here, it's probably the easiest tool to use to start to get some of this data. So I'm going to click on new column and then say determine the industry they are in, so I can group companies for outbound campaigns. Okay, so you can see this is working in the background here. It's giving me the column name, industry, column type, it's a select, and it's got these, pretty standard options. I can add more in here if I want to, but I can just hit run, and I'm gonna run all rows. I've got 17 rows here, so not a huge amount of data to start with, but I can see now that manufacturing is really standing out to be the most common industry here. So determine the company, spelling it all wrong, company size of employees. So I should have been a bit clearer here. But even with the spelling mistake, it's going to work out what I'm trying to see. So employee count, are they 1 to 10 up to 10,000 plus? So run all rows. I don't actually have the company name, so I've got to wait a little while, run all rows. So it's going to do the research and pull out the company name. Now, if I'm looking here, I can see I've got manufacturing 51 to 200 seems to be the most common employee count, so this is good. I'm getting company names here. Let's see if I can, they've got some templates here, so let's see all, name. Okay, that didn't work. Change the company name, and I think I can select it by change the company name to sentence case. Run all rows. Let's see what happens here. Osprey charging, yeah, perfect. So now I've got fairly clean out. Of course, I can remove the limited, but what does this company do? So run rows. I'm doing this in real time. As you can see, we're 3 minutes into the video and I've already started to get this data of employee count, a clean company name. I like to just move this here. Don't know why. I can see that develops, installs, and operates UK-wide network of rapid. Okay, cool. It gives me the reasoning and also how it searched and found this data as well, which is really cool. Let's have a look here. Develops manufacturer standards, lighting, cabinets, and digital image solutions. Okay, so let's try something a bit more. Let's find the LinkedIn URL. So find the company LinkedIn URL. So again, rapid. Column name, LinkedIn. I don't even have to name the column names, which is great. Column type, run all rows. So let's find a LinkedIn URL. Okay, let's go describe who this company actually sells to. So I've got company overview, probably target customer segments. Okay, perfect. Long text, run all rows. Let's go and check some of these as well. It's going to load eventually. Spray charging, that's the one. Okay, so it's going through the target segments. So operators of electric vehicles, EV charging networks. Okay, so let's give it some context. My client is a suggestions to improve their website. So I don't want a select list. I want long text list format list of specific websites. Okay, so let's make it what too short suggestions can we make to improve their website? Let's see what happens. I've not tried this out with Freckle just yet, but website improvement suggestions, let's run all rows. What I like about Freckle as well, it shows you how it got to the answer. So if I click here, optimize website content with targeted keywords related to EV charging solutions, create dedicated PPC landing pages. Okay, so no steps. I think that might not be using context. Optimize, add clear. Okay, so I think that's quite, I mean, it's a it's an okay answer, but it might be slightly generic. So let's see if it can actually, PPC, CRO, view the website and make 2 short suggestions. So again, I'm not sure if this is outside of the scope of Freckle at the moment, but let's give it a go. Okay, save changes. I think it's me more than Freckle at the moment, so let's try that again. Yeah, I don't think it's going off externally and looking for that. Okay, so moving on to the next thing as well. So now I've got a bit of an understanding of who they are. I might want to look to see who they have as their most senior marketer. So find the most senior marketer and output their name, email, and LinkedIn. So that's going to start looking for the senior marketer. Okay, I made a mistake here. I didn't ask it to go into the different columns, so maybe I can do that. Split the name, email, and URL. I think this might be a template actually. Let's delete that. Okay, so I need to extract. Let's have a look. Add to table. Hopefully it lets me see the template before I do it. Extract the person's first name. Okay, extract the person's email. On rows. Extract the person's LinkedIn. Run on all rows. Okay, and now I know how this works. So extract the person's full name. Let me just copy this, delete this column. Delete. Run all rows. Oops, yep. Now, obviously, it's not finding emails for everybody, so that's okay at this stage. but I can at least now go and have a look at Chris's LinkedIn profile, for example, and see whether that matches the type of company I want to reach out to. So as I mentioned, that the purpose of this was to look at a list of manually sourced potential prospects and then group them by industry and other firmographics like employee type to then run campaigns to companies similar to them. So that was part one. If I just sort this out with ascending, I think, yep, sort ascending, I can see that manufacturing by far is the largest here. And I can see that I've got 51 to 200, 51 to 200, and then 11 to 50. So I want to target, for the first campaign for this client, the 51 to 200. The reason being is they have a bigger team, more likely to need additional marketing support. The 11 to 50 might need the marketing support, but these ones might have more budget, or it's more important because there's more employees that need payroll to be paid. So I've done my initial research. I've got some email addresses. But now I want to find more companies that match the criteria of manufacturing 51 to 200, and I'm going to use the Freckle lookalike search to do so. So now I want to build a lookalike search based on the first step of the prospecting research. So I'm going to click here, create new, and then say build company lookalikes. So I need to enter at least one website. Fortunately, I've all here, so let's just go back to my filtered list. Manufacturing 51 to 200. I'm going to copy, paste. Then let's go and find a few others. So we've got 51. Let's give it 4 in total. Let's not give it too much. And then this one here. The reason why we're also focusing on manufacturing is because they've worked with 3 manufacturing firms recently and delivered really great results for them, which we can use in social proof and when we're talking about the challenges that they might be facing. So company size, we want to make sure it's 51 to 200. Location wise, this isn't for the client, but let's just say it's United Kingdom. Then from location, that doesn't matter. Let's not give it industry. Let's see what happens. So let's preview the results. So cable first, Brewcom distribution, Rockford. I'm not sure, but at this stage, I just want to have a quick search of them. Independent provider wiring. Yeah, that looks about right. Let's have a look at 10K. I think 10K was that in here? No, TechMech. Okay, no worries. So let's have a look at these guys. No, that wasn't found for some reason. So it must be 10K Electronics. All right, let's have a look. Brewcom distribution. Let's have a look at these guys. Okay, so Brewcom wiring. It looks like it's picking out wiring, but I might be happy with that. But what I can go and do is just build a list already. So let's go 50. That's going to use 120 credits. Find companies and create table, and this is now going to populate with the data that's pulling in from Ocean. So fortunately, I'm going to get quite a bit of data, such as the company website, LinkedIn, description. And now I can run more analysis on these if I want to. But this gives me 50 leads now, which I can either export from Freckle and upload it into a database like Apollo, Ocean, Zoom Info to find the contact data, or I can use the enrichment feature within Freckle to also find that contact data as well. But as you can see, we went from just having a list of domains to prioritizing by what the most common industry was and employee count. We found out a little bit more information about them. Of course, when I did this for the client, I read it in a lot more detail. We then also tried to find the marketing contact, their full name, their email address, and their personal LinkedIn URL. And then we used that seed list to build a lookalike audience with other manufacturing companies in the UK with 51 to 200. And of course, I could have built a far larger list as well. So yeah, that's how you go from a manual search list of prospects to enrich them in Freckle, to then building a lookalike list in Freckle using ocean.io.